I fall in love, look what it made me become. I let you get too close, just to wake up alone. And I know you think you could run, scared to believe I'm the one. I just can't let you go. I let the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our official recap review of the finale, the series finale of Stranger Things. It's been in our lives for over 9 years, basically 10. And we've already kind of unpacked a couple of our emotions on a lot of it from yesterday, but I have a whole stack of people this time around. And we're about to go a little bit more clear and concise on our thoughts on the finale and in the overarching narrative as well of this crazy, insane show. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce everybody and let them go around. First on deck, Ronan. What's up, brother?
Ooh, lots of emotions. So I'm very gonna hear the rest of everybody's thoughts on the finale. But yeah, it was a blast watching this show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next on deck, we have Keaton. What's up, bro?
What is going on? How y'all doing? Yeah, very, very emotional. Also, Prince.
Yes.
All I can say.
Let out some thug tears there. Next on deck, Jedi Mike 7. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, y'all? I've recovered emotionally. Yeah, so now I got time to process, ready to go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next up, we have Bizzy. What's up, bro?
That's that intro. Fun stuff, dude. Never get tired of it. Instead of talk about this, fun.
Jesus.
Next up, we have Siren. What's going on?
I'm gonna take Jarrell's spot on this one and say I didn't love it, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Fair enough. We're gonna get all the way into it. Last but not least, Omni. What's up, bro?
Hi. I loved it. I had a lot of fun. I don't know if I've cried that much in a while, but at least on the emotional aspect, I think they nailed it. There's a couple things I would have liked, but didn't need. I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah. So this is what we're gonna kind of do, and I'm gonna give y'all the same, ability we had yesterday. As far as if you could kind of give a clear, concise perspective on your emotions about the episode, if you could put it in one words and kind of break down what that actually meant for you. I'll let you go first, Omni, actually.
I'm gonna say cathartic because I think I liked where everybody ended up by the end of it for the most part. Because there was a lot of like the road being defined for a lot of people, whether it be by themselves or expectations societally, especially with that group right there on screen, and how despite them not taking the road they planned, wound up where they probably needed to be or would be best off being. And I think that was kind of the case for everybody. Sometimes it was a little more bittersweet, but I think for the most part, I think it was a happy ending, I think, for everybody. And I don't know. So like I just found the storylines and the emotional impact of everything pretty cathartic. I think that's the best way for me to put it.
No, that's completely fair. Completely fair. Next up, Keaton. One word and then break that down for you.
One word, like how I just how I felt in general, like emotionally.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm gonna say fine. I because it was definitely I was just really, really happy with how they wrapped everything very, very similar to how they began it. Like I do love when things come full circle and they brought back the whole Dungeons and Dragons aspect of it. And also that's about as fair of an ending as they all get. These people have been killing American soldiers for 9 years straight, and now they just get to drink beer on the roof, and ain't nobody talking about it. Just saying, like these are all like domestic terrorists on the highest level. It's just like, yeah, that's cool. Go turn your tassel. Enjoy eating lasagna at Enzo's. And so, honestly, I'm gonna say fair. Like it was one of those things when I finished it up, I was laughing because I was like, of course, this is 80s ridiculousness, which is exactly why people are crazy about this show, including the Disney ass wrap up that they ended up doing at the end. And so it was exactly what I wanted. Plus, those kids couldn't go through any more trauma, otherwise they'd end up like Victor Creel.
Wow. Now that's actually fair. Didn't even think about that. Bizzy. One word and then emotions on it.
One word in general that I'm thinking of is like monumental. I mean, the scale of this finale and again where everyone ended up, the nostalgia that I felt, considering it all kind of like ended with the new group of kids, kind of where we started in the first place with season 1. So it's like, I don't know, it was overwhelming at times, but it was really good.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then Siren, you have one word and then the breakdown of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with cathartic. And the reason that I'm choosing that is because, as I said a little while ago, I didn't love it, but I did like it. And the reason that I liked it is it was an actual final wrap. Like, there was no, but wait, there's more, which it would have just been. It would have been an insult to the overall story of Stranger Things.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, yesterday we were kind of a little emotionally compromised. There was a lot going on. It was New Year's, and we were literally just trying to take it all in ultimately. So I wanted to kind of give everybody their time to be able to be emotional about it, but then we can kind of dissect it from a critical perspective. But I think the hard part about it is that some of this is like, we've been with these characters for over 9 years. And so it's hard to kind of separate what it actually meant when you have such an ending that wraps everything up full circle. And I think one of the things I wanted to kind of ask before we get into the nitty gritty with the critical side of it is the way that they actually ended it. Like, did you guys feel like the ending of it was justifiable for such a show like this? Did you guys want more? Did you guys feel like it was just simple enough? Because I think that I read somewhere that this has always been the ending that they've always written, that this is where they knew that these characters were kind of going to end up. One of the things I think they even wrote was that Levin was never going to actually be there. And I thought that was really interesting how they kind of put that. But I wanted y'all's perspective on the actual ending. How did you guys feel like they wrapped up the ending? And anybody can go first.
I mean, I feel like I had a crap ton of emotions on how they were going to handle it. I mean, at times, I feel like within the first 30 minutes, I think I was expecting a lot, so I was kind of underwhelmed at times. But then they just kind of like dropped the bomb, and it just kept going and going and going. Ultimately, I think I'm content with how it ended. The one thing that was really kind of like destroying me at times was with 11, with her kind of like dying. I truly thought that's how they were going to end it, and for it to be kind of like I don't know if open-ended is the right word, but for it to be up to interpretation or whatever you want to call it, with the storyteller saying, "Hey, she got out. Callie had it like an illusion, made an illusion, whatever." Like, just to see that she might have gotten her own little ending, was enough to keep me like mentally sane. So I did kind of like the route that they went with there, instead of just calling it quits and being like, "Yeah, she died. That's it." So I thought that was that's kind of what tied it together for me and made me kind of really, really appreciate what this was.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Because going into it, we were just sitting around, and it was basically almost like, all right, who do we think is going to make it out of this? And from the jump, I was sitting here thinking about it and everything they've gone through over all the different seasons. I'm like, honestly, I don't know if any of them are going to die, which is fair, because their story, the storylines, the way the show has been written from the start has been like, okay, this is a coming of age story about these kids that are just sitting around playing Dungeons and Dragons, and now they're forced to grow up because of this wild reason. Well, you can't just take a coming of age story and be like, actually, no coming of age, they're just dead, right? And so I remember, I know a lot of people I was talking to were like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe they didn't kill anybody off. But that's because we're so damn used to Game of Thrones and Walking Dead that we're just like, if somebody I love doesn't die, how will I ever say it's a good show? And I'm like, just be happy. Like, it's okay to be happy. And I mean, with all the references this show has had or paid homage to from the jump, you think about like the Goonies, you think about Never Ending Story, you think about most of them outside of Red Dawn, you get a pretty happy ending. And so I was glad with the way they wrapped it up. And I also really appreciated that they left time for the epilogue. It was one of those things when I was sitting there watching it, I saw how much time was left and I got happy because I was like, okay, good. They're going to get a chance to flesh out like what happens. The only thing is, I was honestly hoping they would flash forward more than 18 months. Like I liked it, but I was hoping they would flash forward even further. And yeah, it was bittersweet because Mike and Elle didn't get their happy ending, but at the same time, I mean, Mike kind of figured it out. I don't think it was, I mean, I know that was left to interpretation, but everything he said made sense. Like, how was she able to move that if she was actually there? Like, all of it tracked, right? And so, I was really happy with how everything wrapped up. And they also wrapped it up in a way where it's like, it's not completely closed. If they really wanted to like wring the rag out for every drop of money they could, it's like, oh, look, Elle's still alive and Sarah Connor's still out there mad somewhere. So who knows, right? And so they did a really good job, I think, wrapping it up and honestly letting them finally win, which is okay. With Callie's story, I did kind of hate that. Like, there's this trope where it's like, oh, when someone doesn't have anything to live for, it's okay if we kill them. And I feel like that's what they kind of did with her, which I really wasn't happy with, because I always like more of what they did with Hopper, where he didn't feel like he had a reason to keep living, and then over time he did. They kind of just shoehorned her in there at the end, like, look, here's someone depressed, she can die, right? And just kind of swept her off. It was like perfect ending for her. But I mean, otherwise, I really enjoyed the ending of this, and I was absolutely blown away by what they did, wrapping it up with the remixed version of Kids for the music at the end. That is what made me tear up.
I'm not even gonna lie, I'm jealous of any of you guys that went to the theaters to see this, because I think only one of us here actually went to the theaters to actually see it. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But anybody else have any thoughts on the ending?
I'm just glad that they didn't do a last minute redemption thing for Henry.
Yes.
I think that was the one thing going into this I was really afraid of, because I hadn't like touched base with the play at all until this season, and I hadn't seen it, but I read like a detailed synopsis of it or whatever, because I have no way of seeing it. But it filled in a lot of things that didn't need to be explored in the show, but there's some things that it expanded upon that they definitely touched on. But one of the things that it kind of left open, I guess, for this was the possibility that Henry might not be in control of his actions a lot of the time. And I was like, I was like, when Will was getting into his mind, I was like, oh God, oh no, here it comes. No. And he's like, no, it was always us. I chose. He showed me the truth. I was like, yay, we're okay. Because I just feel like the show didn't prep any of that. So I was a little worried it would be like a last minute, whatever the opposite of a heel turn is, absolving Henry of any of the choices. Because I think choices was a big theme of at least the final season. Is about people choosing their road or taking charge of their lives in some way, or whether I think I like that it gave him a different choice to mirror the opposite of Will, because they kind of made them parallels with one another when he was originally like, yo, you're the evil L, but he's more of a mirror of Will. He was corrupted in this way by this dark entity like Will was, and he created a weapon of his own destruction in the end. I thought that was kind of sick. But I was just worried they were going to redeem him in the end, and I was like, I don't think if they did, wouldn't think would have been earned personally. But I mean, other than that, everything else I think landed pretty much where I was hoping it would. I didn't think like I said was earlier. I don't think this was ever a show that was out to kill anyone we actually love. Like as far as like our main cast, they kind of skirted that a little bit with 11. Like I think she's probably gone personally, based on a couple other things sprinkled in throughout. But either way, I like that it's an attempt of Mike either way to control the narrative by believing in what he wants to believe in. By the end of it, I don't know. I thought a lot of that was really cool. This was one of the shows I was like, again, if you watch a lot of this kind of stuff, these coming of age stories from the 80s, they get a little weird, they can get a little freaky, and then get a little dark. But in the end, it's like they usually don't kill anybody. Yeah. I was like, to me, it was like, this has never been that show. This isn't going to be, there's going to be a bloodbath of our main characters in the end. Everybody's like, there's too many people lived.
Yeah.
Like, this is not that show. Everybody else can die, but who cares about them?
Yeah, I brought it up yesterday about Vecna and how they handle him. It really mirrored Tomura Shigaraki. If you've seen My Hero Academia, you understand what I mean by that, because from a redemption side, they could easily went that route, but he chose, what kind of person he wanted to be. Another thing, like Eren Yeager, certain choices you make and choose to be. And I think that the way that they handled it with Vecna, even though I think Jamie was in his bag, I think from an acting standpoint, like he in this finale showed out in a lot of different ways, because you could tell there's a clear difference in even his mannerisms when he is just talking as him. But I didn't notice it before. And again, if some of you guys have seen the play or gone through the storyline of the play, I didn't necessarily but I knew where it ended up and I knew the connection behind it. And I actually really appreciated how they handled that. And to be honest with you, from my personal perspective, I didn't like how they handled Callie in this at all. There's a lot of different reasons why I feel like they chose to use her like that, because it was an emotional thread to Elle. But a lot of people hated the episode that she was in before. And then they gave her this irredeemable arc when they could have, I think narratively, they could have handled it a lot better, especially when she saw like the pregnant ladies slowly dying. I felt like they could have really went a different route with that, but instead they made her make Elle make a life-changing choice. And from a narrative standpoint, I feel bad for the actress, because a lot of people just literally hated her. Like, we were watching the episode, and we were like, yeah, who cares? And some of you guys were like, who cares about it? And I feel bad. But that's the route that they took her character. And I mean, another character that I don't really care about is Linda Hamilton's character, to be quite honest. I think that could have been any other one. But, the way that they navigated our characters and enveloping them, I think is the central part of it. But I did want to comment on those two things. Anybody else want to talk about how they ended it?
Yeah, I will, because I came in slightly late. Just our quick thoughts of what we thought about it?
No, just the ending. Like, how you feel like they actually tied up the story, like the ending itself.
Oh, like the ending of the epilogue?
Yeah.
Well, so That is a solid question. I mean, I did not enjoy the episode. Personally, for me, the epilogue was easily the worst part of the finale. I said this yesterday, but I like conceptually, because I even went back and rewatched it in theaters this morning today. Conceptually, I think there's a lot of great ideas going on, like the final moments in the basement when Will is leaving the basement to Derek and them playing Dungeons and Dragons. I think that's a great concept. I didn't like the execution, the way they handled it, but like conceptually, that's almost is a perfect idea, to be honest with you. But it's just the execution of all these ideas in the finale that I have an issue with.
Crap, my mic was off. My bad. Anybody else had a comment on how they ended it?
That's what's fascinating to me. That like the epilogue is my favorite part of the finale. I mean, I do love the final boss battle as it's displayed, and like you could tell that they were very much trying to line up like the cover of the D&D like playbook thing. I was like, all right, Dustin has the shield and sword. There's a big kaiju there. All right, cool. We gotta fight that. A lot of the, us saying goodbye to Elle from Mike's perspective, and a lot of that stuff that I dug towards where we're going, but I think it was the epilogue that really like got it for me. And I was worried because I'm like, well, how long is the epilogue going to be compared to what the last showdown we're going to have for Hawkins? And yeah, I mean, again, go watch our video, but like stuff either playing in the episode or just stuff that was resonating us from an outsider perspective from the show was hitting us. And so I appreciated that. And whether it's the rendition of kids at the end, whether it's even like, again, something like seeing Mike type up and knowing that like I was like, somebody here's got to be an author, somebody here's got to tell, like, got to be a fantasy sci-fi writer, because you don't play this too much stuff and just be like, oh, okay, well, I'm just, go get a beer when I'm like, nah, somebody had to be the storyteller. And I like that shift of him telling him, like, each of you, this is what's going to happen to your fictional characters, but what most times is going to happen to you in real life. And I was worried initially when we saw that, like, but the mage, ... And I was like, wait a minute, are we going to cop out right now? Or is that what we're doing? But I like that it showed us a perspective, and that's up to you if you want to, like, believe it or not. And it would have been something else if Elle just walked in on the door, knocked in, and be like, hi, and be like, what the hell was all that for? And that's that last moment with Dustin and the Hellfire Lives reveal. That was sweet because it's very echoey of the show. It was like all these terrible things happen, and then nobody wants to talk about it or bring it up. And I love that he was just like, fuck this. Like no, everybody, like, jocks and nerds, hang out. Don't look inside to your inner groups and whatnot. I thought that was very sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think that the way that they ended it for the show as a whole, maybe not conceptually for the episode, but for the show as a whole, I think it was perfect on a lot of different standards, because I think it was something, I mean, definitely it's cathartic watching them play D&D and having Max be there, watching them progress as young adults. But I think when Mike was kind of going up the stairs and they all were kind of putting their books away, it was kind of like, you got to think about what these kids have gone through. Like, these kids, for all intents and purposes, should never even be the same again. And I think the interesting part about it is everybody that was going down there were the kids that went through everything they went through with Vecna. These kids went through what Will went through and worse. So they shouldn't be able to move forward, right? But the show merited, you can move forward. Even past trauma, there is light at the end of it. And I think that that was the most interesting thing, because Mike had to look back at them like and see his old childhood, but he had to look at them like they're going to be okay and they can kind of move forward. And I thought that was beyond just touching. I think it was very effective and important, because all of us, in one way, shape, or form, have had to go through that. And I think that that's why, well, at least for me, I was getting emotional. Like, I was like, I've had to go through this. you had to go and weed yourself out of trauma to figure out where you're going to actually go and not knowing what it's going to be next. But if these kids can go through all of this and have some semblance of normalcy, I think that's the most important impact. And yes, I mean, I love the fact that Hopper finally proposed to Joyce. I thought that was gorgeous. Like even at the same exact place that they went before their bad date, and it worked itself out. So I actually love the epilogue personally, but
yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. All right, Mike. Can I jump in?
Yeah, go for it.
No, I just want to piggyback what you were saying about the ending. Again, if you saw the reaction, I cried at the end, and I was not expecting to, get emotional at the end, but it was just the last 15 minutes was more, again, was resonating to me personally, just about what this show as a whole was about. This show was about nerds, right? And it was kind of also picking back to the speech and graduation, how that in our world that we are kind of being put our back up against the corner, being fit in these categories and these groups, and we should be breaking that, and interacting with people that is different from you, but then yet you can bond over something that you guys love, right? And over the course of this entire show, we've seen many different characters who might fit a particular stereotype, and then that end up breaking out of that mold and becoming, a very fleshed out character, or another dimension about them have been revealed, like Erica, Steve Harrington, other people, and what I loved about it was that this was again dedicated to nerds, whether or not D&D, whether you're Marvel, Star Wars, whatever. Every nerd has a memory, a cornerstone memory in the back of their head of, oh, I'm growing up and this is the group that I used to nerd out with and everything, and now life is happening. And there was several scenes in the end, particularly on the rooftop with Nancy, Robin, and Steve and Jonathan. Is like, and I said, me and Miguel, like, we're in that age bracket now. Like, I'm not graduating high school. I graduated high school over 10 years ago, but I'm not. I'm approaching 30. I'm married, right? Building a family of my own. Working. Paying mortgages, all that stuff, right? But at the same time, and I don't get to see the friends I grew up with. Doesn't mean I don't have any friends now. But it was the line that Robin said about like, hey, I like my friends, but it's not the same, right? So, and it's up to all of them, to be like, hey, let's just try to do something like once a month, whatever. We can just meet up, whatever. And that's a very realistic scene about us as people growing up, but then going piggyback on to of coming full circle with the D&D table and all of them. I felt they, that was more speaking to them as people than that, not just their character. And then it was just like him looking at his little sister at on the table and everything. Mind you, we started. His sister was like a toddler when this show started. Like, and it just puts things in perspective. Like, and you realizing like, hey, that piece of your heart, it's not going away, but life goes on. And that's what I said. The word of this episode for me was acceptance. Not everything's gonna be answered. Not everything's gonna be perfect the way you might want it, on a bow, whatever. But you're accepting, moving on, and moving forward. So yeah, that to me was like kind of the the overarching theme of the episode. But there was other problems, but we'll get to that.
Yeah,
I want to piggyback off of that real quick, just because with that whole thing about the growing up and getting past that point, and then like the thing with the friends, because specifically like with my group, like my original group or whatever, like from high school and all that, we kind of did something similar, because after a point, we extended a little bit because we went to the same college for a little while. But for the most part, after that, then life takes hold, and you kind of have to just kind of roll with the punches. And I think a lot of things, and I talked about this, and I think it come up when I was talking with Matt Mercer and my thing over there for that. It was like, try not to lose sight of that piece of you, because life will try to like burn it out of you, like that thing that Mike was kind of putting on the shelf for now to move on to the next stage of his life. It's not like he let go of that either, because now he's writing, now he's creating it. It's taken a different form. There's hope that the next generation is going to be carrying over. And then with like Nancy and them on there, like, yeah, they're all in different parts of the country and whatever, but they're like, they're like, this means so much to me still, and it always will. But you know, it just gets to a point where you gotta work to make that connection happen. Like me and my friends, it's not once a month, but we have a retreat we take every year where we rent out a place and just play D&D for a whole weekend. So I don't know. I just thought that was, again, just the different ways they handled the
Is it me?
progression was a lot of fun.
Can y'all hear him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
No,
great
that's
point, man.
awesome. Like to me, like the moment, like again, like you know, you guys were hinting about the D&D and stuff. Like seeing Mike see his sister go down there, and then it goes back, and to me, it enhances one of my favorite moments of this season and probably the show. Is just like it's just Mike and his sister in the hallway of her school, and him saying, "I was gonna wait a few years to give you this," and he gives her the Holly, the heroic figure, and I was just like, again, he's not, you know, it's not a full lesson of how you're gonna survive adulthood. It's just like, hey, it's okay to be scared, but you don't have to remain scared and whatnot. And like a little token like that he gives her, and something that he probably didn't have because of his parents. How it's a different generation. Like he's giving his sister what he never had. I was like, I understand what you're potentially going through, and it's okay. And here, this is an excuse to like not ignore the world, but don't let it run you over. And I like that. I like when a moment from a finale can enhance something for early on and just make that even better for me, I think.
By the way, can I just say, I fucking told y'all. I told y'all there's not going to be any substantial deaths. Okay, as soon as they saved, what was it, Ted and I think it's Karen, right, Wheeler. As soon as the show wasn't even willing to kill them off, I was just like, okay, yeah, but like maybe there'll be like some low hanging fruit, like number 8 will die, right? The sister will die, something like that. But like not even Murray died. So like no.
I'll give you that, but I saw your
Steve,
face,
Robin.
I saw your face
Huh?
when Hopper moved the tub and we see 11 shut up. I saw your face, so like for a quick second, it got you. I think I could be wrong, but I was like,
I didn't think she was dead though.
But I saw you the look of like, oh shit, like, and here. But here's the thing: I always knew that,
sure.
like,
I mean,
if we're not gonna see bodies, do what Guardians 3 did, where it's like, okay, nobody goes, but like, we're not gonna the gang is not gonna be the same anymore, and we go our own ways, like that. If I was like achieve that, and I'm like, that's another perfect ending where their bodies don't have to be mounted up, and then again, we could talk about how they got there. And
sure,
you know where the terminals are now, but yeah, I was just like, if we're gonna see any bodies, just make it a wholesome goodbye to everybody, and I just be like, well, so and so died.
Well, but there was. I'm not gonna lie, there was one part where I'm like, okay, I think you literally just put this scene in there just for the sake of, well, we know it's gonna be in the theater, and let's get a crowd reaction when Steve almost supposedly. And you know,
Yeah.
Well, that's the that's what they teased in that interview with the Funko Pops.
Yeah, and that's what he felt. I was like, oh, that's what you.
That's why they were confident to do that. They're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna mess with y'all.
They've been messing with us for months about that. Truth be told, because when the set, I think some set stuff had leaked out and saw like some people crying and stuff like that, and everybody's like, oh my god, they killed Dustin. Oh my god, they killed Steve, and we just truly didn't know. And I think that they definitely played that up. But I do have something to interject on Jarrell, but I'll let you go first. Go ahead.
Which one?
Who?
Somebody was about to say something.
Omni?
Go ahead, Omni.
I don't even remember now.
Okay. Go ahead, Simon.
So taking into account what everyone said, the reason that I felt I didn't like it, I like the big impactful ending, but at the end of it, we've got to go back to the point of these kids are haggard, they're tired, they're going like hog wild, they're about ready to just snap at the joints. Like, who's gonna be the bait? I'll do it. Like she's 2 steps away from going over the edge. So people have to rest at some point. And if this had gone on further, we would have seen substantial deaths. There would have been pitfalls, there would have been hiccups. Dustin would have miscalculated more than once. Like, it would have headed towards that way. This being ended the way that it was, it's a full circle. Like, it's created a loop, but in a healthy space. It's like a rewrite.
Mm-hmm.
So it brought everybody back to square one. The reasoning why everyone joined, how they all became friends, what they gained from this, what they lost from this, what they don't want anyone else to have to go through from this. And I think the only thing that like I really disliked, what's his face? You know, Holly, Mike, and Nancy's dad.
Derek.
What's his name again?
Ted.
Whatever his name is. Anyway, he probably should have died. I'm not saying this to be mean.
No,
It would have helped with his
yeah.
character arc. Like, the one redeemable moment he had, he ruined by opening his mouth. Language.
Literally unchanged.
So dumb, dog.
Suspension
so
of
dumb.
disbelief.
This is
He-
like, you
he
could have
lived-
just shut up. Like, you
No.
could have just shut up. Mouth being quiet would have... Quiet contemplation of irritation. Okay, that's fine. You didn't have to say anything. We already had the irritating principal in the back. Like, excuse me. It's just like, no. There's nothing here for you to excuse. Just stop talking. But
Him living was the most believable thing. It's always the one you hate the most. It's like, why are you still alive? Like, what?
Like, what are you still doing here?
I'm sorry, I interrupted her.
It's
You
okay,
weren't done
Keith.
yet. My bad. I'm sorry.
It's okay, because I felt that way. I was like, all right, okay, well, at least you can't be any more irritating. And then he spoke, and it was just like, yeah, that's pretty in character with you. With Kali, I say she was a key player in 2 regards. She gave Elle a bit of what she needed. The push to feel that anger, to surpass what she was capable of prior, or what she believed she was capable of prior. The ability to see past the fog of people painting this sunshiny light. Like, there is darkness in her power, but darkness doesn't have to be bad. Like, but going from that, I am so glad. I told you he was evil from conception, and you didn't believe me.
Well, technically,
No,
conception, he was not evil from conception. He had no one. He was left into a place of isolation, and he got cornered into a bad situation. And then it was a cycle of, and that's the thing that I wish they would have kind of unpacked a little bit more, that a lot of people have told me about the play, of where he goes in and out when the mind flare is more up and down. And he also had a very key emotional connection to somebody that got taken away from him. And
he had a girl, didn't he? Or am I
correct?
Okay.
And
Wait.
Oh, yeah,
Wait.
this is the Broadway stuff. That's canon,
Yeah.
I guess.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
have to
never-
look into that then, because
I
I
was
like
shocked.
the idea of him
Yeah.
going, after someone around his age, as opposed to, a 10-year-old.
Right. And I
Oh.
think that they showed flashes of it when Will was peeking into his mind, small little flashes of it, but they only gave, it was all based off of Will's word. Like, we didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that would have helped if they would have kind of just used an episode to unpack all that. But
because I think, like, if you put that together with him, like, I think, like, a lot of people, he started off like he was just a scared kid trying to help, but then this thing kicks off this event, like, to defend himself. He ended up taking this dude out. He got shot. This guy was going to shoot him again, and then he was kind of freaking out over what he had to do, which I think in my head, like it just kind of informs on his whole like viewpoint of the world later, is like survival is key. This place is just fight or flight, predator and prey. And I don't think he got there until later. But like once he got this power from this thing, that's when you have the influence of the mind flayer starting. And he's like, oh, it just showed me stuff. It allowed me to see the world. Because whether he was fighting it for a long time or how long it took for him to finally be swayed, like he said, like when we met him in season 4, he was like, no, I saw what my father did. The horrors that he and my mother had done behind the scenes, these secrets that people keep now because he can read their minds, he can do all these things. So it kicked off this cascading effect of him seeing and focusing on just the bad.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that too, because like back to Siren's point about Kali, is like Kali was kind of trapped in a similar cycle, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that worldview isn't completely wrong. And I think a lot of that from Vecna is what rubbed off on Will to give him some strength, that sometimes you need to be a little more rigid, a little more firm, like you actually not let the world break you. Yeah. And push back a little bit. And I think that Hopper, like he said multiple times, may admittedly being a little too protective. And I think like when you have like almost this devil and angel on Eleven's shoulder, it's like it kind of allows her to build, I think, a more well-rounded choice for herself in the end.
Yeah.
Because I think Kali, I think for me when I was watching, I was like, I think she kind of knew, especially when watching their interaction. It was like, oh, this thing that I never experienced, you see or have, is real. So it's like, maybe I'll taint that. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe she could have found a way or a life for herself on the other side of it. I would have liked that if they could have been sisters for real. Yeah. But I feel like some of that also is one of those things that maybe like Henry maybe had to go. Yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I felt like Kali.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Keaton.
No, I was glad they didn't try and make him redeemable, because ever since we got his backstory in the last season, I was like, oh, this kid, he's just different. And then they showed him playing with spiders and everything. And then it was like, oh, he killed a rabbit. And I'm like, oh, nah, he ain't coming back from that. Like, it was just one of those things. It's like, oh, don't let the world, and it's like, nah, that won't the world. He just killed a bunny rabbit, and y'all need to like, that's not good. And so I was really glad that they didn't redeem him, but I'm also glad that they did say that like the mind flayer was influencing him, because I thought it was dumb that they were like, oh yeah, Vecna killed Barb in season 1. And I'm like, no, we didn't. Like, that doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And so I was glad that they did not redeem him. But going back to what they were saying about like the other deaths, every single person, like, and I love that they kind of flash back when Joyce beheading everybody got flashbacks. Like, yeah, give them smoke, keep cutting.
He went
like,
hard on that, man.
All of them. And so it was one of the, and so when they showed that, it was almost one of those things that's like, look, you don't need to kill anybody else off. They're all already hurting. Plus, it was one of those things where they did such a good job, like giving everybody their own storyline. They kind of wrote themselves into a corner, because it was like, we can't kill the fat kid. We can't kill the black kid.
Yeah, you can.
We can't kill the gay kid. We can't kill the gay kids. We can't kill the girl in a wheelchair that just woke up. Like, it was one of those things.
It would be mean, but you could.
They went through all of it, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
I
think it goes back to what was the purpose of the show at the end of the day. Like, as much as, there are other shows that go that route. If you want to see that, go to it. Welcome.
I was going to say, you've been throwing that at me.
Absolutely not.
They do not care.
That ain't my world. I don't even watch y'all's TikToks with that. I think
that's a bit of a misinterpretation. I think that's a bit of a misinterpretation. I don't know that there's this intense like bloodlust per se from the audience or bulk of the audience. I think it's more so people just wanted a greater sense of stakes, and we did not get that.
But what's the purpose of those stakes?
See,
To
I
feel
think
something, so that it doesn't feel like just like artificial or just rated G. That they are the ones that have been foreshadowing this darkness. It wasn't me, my nigga. It was them.
No, I
but
didn't
that's
say
the
that.
thing though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So we're viewing it from the point of there has to be some grand finale, but you have to see the culmination of everything that they've gone through, the losses they've had to face, the losses they've had to create, the things they had to give up without having a choice. They became armies, generals, admirals. They became they became pyrotechnic experts. They
Red
learned
Dawn.
they taught
Yeah.
themselves how to use guns. Like they became tech experts. All these things that they should have been playing in the backyard. Dustin should have been pining over his Mormon girlfriend who got her computer taken away. And instead, here they are, everybody playing these little key roles that nobody asked for. Like when Max got snapped back, I was concerned. I was like, okay, so somehow Max is not actually okay. And it's hopefully L, but by
Right. I was
some
thinking the
terrible
same thing.
regard,
I was
Yeah.
it
thinking the
might be
same thing.
Vecna. It
Same.
might be Vecna. He might be pulling everybody back who's got a little bit of him and the Mind Flayer stuck in them. And that was just, it was its own type of catharsis. Like Max had gone through hell, but she was still needed. Like, hey, we understand you can't really walk or move or exist properly right now, but we need you to get up and, show us the way. And by the way, we have like 30 seconds, maybe 25 if we're being
Yeah.
generous.
Yeah,
But-
because I mean, from my perspective, I'm just saying that these kids and young adults, right? If you go think about just using Max, for instance, Max had all her limbs broken off and effectively died. Like she went through hell, right? But then even in this season, Nancy had to literally watch her little sister get dragged away, and she knew what happened to Will. And she watched her mom. She didn't know whether her mom was going to live or not. Like,
And Barb.
these characters, I understand from an entertainment standpoint. If we're going from an entertainment standpoint, I understand, and I think justifiably, y'all make sense with that. But if we're talking about, if you look at these people as people, even when the 4th season, when I watched my man Steve get dragged out there and was like getting bitten up by bats, and he had to go full Ozzy Osbourne on the freaking bat. I was like, how is this man supposed to ever be the same again? Truthfully, like how do these people live actual lives again? That's why when I watched the actual ending, I was kind of like, this is like, what the hell are you doing?
I'm a drink on the roof for the rest of my life. That's
I'm
what I'm
just
gonna
saying
do.
that they found a path forward where it really shouldn't have been. And I think that idea is even more important than what I would have wanted, some grandiose thing. And the other thing I was going to go back about was, like, we talk about, like, there is no notable deaths, like nobody significant died. I'm going to ask this actual question. And I think Omni said it. And I personally think that the way that they wrote it is to leave it open-ended, because Mike has to believe that. He was the only one that willed literally 11 that she's still alive at the end of the day, right? In the 1st season. And I think that what it kind of brought me back to, this is a terrible example, but I'm gonna put it up there anyway, is the end of Matrix Revolutions.
Hey.
And they were talking to each other, and she was kind of like, I believe, that he's still out there. And unfortunately, we had a new Matrix movie that came out that was kind of true. But at the time, we didn't believe none of that, right? We were kind of like, dang, Neo's gone. You know what I'm saying? But I love the idea behind who Neo was. And
I mean, I believed there was a computer program. I never thought Neo was dead.
But I did.
Right.
I was like, he's gone.
Right.
I was like, I thought he legit was gone.
In spirit, my brother.
And at the end of the day, my personal perspective,
He died for
I
our
don't
sins.
know that she's actually alive. but the idea behind her and the willingness to believe she still found some semblance of peace, especially from what Hopper encouraged her to be and to do. I thought that was really insightful and hopeful, but reality-wise, I didn't necessarily know that was actually true. And that's why I was like, you can't prove or disprove it. They put it out there as an idea, but you can't. And so that's the reason why I bring it up.
Bro, can I just say 11 11, she is alive, and we can get into it, but my nigga, I'm not buying it. She's alive. This is not HBO's The Leftovers. She's alive. The fact that they would even consider to make such a huge dramatic gesture and to even consider putting forth this ambiguous notion. Come on.
But the biggest thing is regarding a character,
and like it didn't make sense that the machines did that. Like I feel like they gave you the physical evidence that says,
that she could be.
But there's one physical evidence that everyone's forgetting, that the person that is said doing all of this is bleeding out for 45 minutes.
She
has no walkie-talkie to know. Oh wait. Oh, are you gone now? Is everyone you rescued all the kids? All right. Now let me use all the extra power my body have left, even though I've been bleeding out for about an hour. And
that's
then now
I understand the hope
now I'm gonna die.
But see, the other thing too is like she's been shown to have like a small radius.
She's got a super small distance. She can do it for, I think, at most a mile to 2 miles.
Right.
You're bleeding out for 45 minutes.
They also had her in
with
there
a gunshot,
for a long time too, like testing her and stuff. So in my mind, the entire time she was doing that, she was just working on the set, like getting her game up. I don't know. Like I thought like the entire time it was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna hit him with it. It's one of these days as soon as I can get free. Because I mean, homegirl been hanging out in the Upside Down. That would make anybody want to die. Honestly, I mean, it's looking like Fayetteville. I don't know. Like it's
Bizzy.
Like,
is 11 still alive?
Bizzy, don't lie.
I mean, realistically, like I want to believe she is. That's why I'm saying I love that they left it open to interpretation. But at the end of the day, I mean, I understand where their questions come from, because she was bleeding out for fucking 45 minutes. So when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, this isn't real. But at the end of the day, it's about a girl with superpowers. So I was just happy to see her, kind of
right.
It was also 45 minutes for us. We don't know how fast that was in real time in the show. Like Dragon Ball Z logic. Just saying.
I mean, oh yeah, they did so much shit in that period of time. going up to Murray. I mean,
they took all the kids and they literally are walking to Vecna's corpse.
Look,
the
black people in the back.
At the end of the day, it's super unrealistic, but it's about fucking monsters and powers. I mean, I'm just happy to see where it ended up.
That's the only problem I had with that was that she was bleeding out for that long.
If Mrs. Wheeler can live, 8 can live.
Yeah, she got the badass scars now, bro.
Like, Mrs. Wheeler's neck got turned into hamburger.
Right, she wasn't hiding anything.
Hamburger.
Right.
And they hit us with the tis but a flesh wound at the end. Like, nah.
Yeah.
She would have been dead.
Mrs. Wheeler's neck looked so bad that I thought it was horrendous that this show didn't have an MA rating. Like that was.
Does it? I was gonna say before.
No,
does it? Is it rated?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
What
is the rating?
It's had a TV 14 rating from the
14.
Damn,
really? Mind blowing to me.
Really? You mean to tell me 11 murdered those guys? Yes. She made that dude shoot himself, and that's not MA?
Yes,
it's not.
It's been TV 14.
Netflix.
I don't know who they're paying to do that. Like, if Mrs. Wheeler can live through that, 8 can survive a gunshot wound. Same thing with what's his name that came back?
Technically, a gunshot to the stomach is the slowest way to die.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but she already died.
Yeah.
What are y'all getting all right? What are we talking about?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Listen,
it's one of the worst places. It's one of the worst places to get shot.
He's telling the truth.
But you're forgetting the part that Kali, like, she was already halfway checked out. One, she was strapped up in the Upside Down by people just like Brenner. who wanted her for her body, except in a creepier way, they wanted her blood. So they drained her like a sieve repeatedly.
I
This
want to
girl
touch on
was
that.
tired.
And where's all the
Yeah.
pregnant women? Are they all dead now? No
They,
pregnant.
Absolutely,
they
they
were
are.
already dying. They're gone. They were
Oh
dying.
yeah,
Absolutely,
they were
they are.
suffering
Okay.
horribly.
They
Like the
suffer 11
pregnancies were
months
going
straight.
terribly.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
mean, I think
Just
we ain't even
real
talking
quick
about.
on that.
Good.
The one of the things too that is kind of important to make sure that both of them die is the mind flayers in their blood. Like the particles, that's what gave them their powers. That's what infected Henry and gave him the power, and then his blood made them.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's true.
oh. Wait, so,
10
wait
years,
a second.
y'all.
So is Vecna and the Mind Flayer? This is something that confused me even on a rewatch. So is Vecna and the Mind Flayer, are they like extra? Is it like a Welcome to Dairy thing where it's sort of like some ancient extraterrestrial
The Mind
technically?
Flayer,
The
yes.
Mind
Or-
Flayer
The way
is-
the way they've been
Mind-
saying is that it's
Or-
another planet. Yeah.
Okay,
Another
well, I wasn't
dimension.
sure.
Another
I wasn't
dimension
sure
thing,
if it was either that or if they were just literal demonic forces. Like
No,
you-
the-
Mind
it's
Flayer is
another
an
dimension.
interdimensional,
It seemed more
ageless
alien.
alien being.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
seemed
which
more
is
So
what
an
it is
even
in
alien.
D&D.
transdimensional.
Yeah.
Because if it's interdimensional, that is like in some ways, how are we not just talking about like a straight up demon in a way?
So
'cause
he
that-
is basically a demon because what he was doing was the ability to have that stone transcend directly into Henry.
sure.
That's much more lore than it is
Mhm.
science fiction.
Well, I want to specify because like I had put in the little chat, but like in 1979, Ridley Scott's Alien, like that's an alien. It's not a demon. It might come across like a demon, but that's like a biological being. Like that's an extraterrestrial being. And I was just curious because like you could very easily misjudge here, but I almost wasn't sure if it was alien or demon.
I'd say like as much as an alien as you would classify like Pennywise or something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know.
We can just call it a mixture because it was
Yeah.
playing on both
At the
key
end of the day,
parts.
Yeah,
Semantics.
For sure. For
yeah,
sure.
they were definitely playing on both.
Science is magic to some.
Yeah,
That is actually a true statement.
but are we gonna talk about the fact that all these people are murderers?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
every
yeah.
single
no,
one.
no
Oh.
education whatsoever. No martial law. No,
Oh.
none of like. You are. Hey, I know you're a police detective, but yet you can kill all these highly trained military guys and stuff in like 2 seconds with
He
headshots.
went John
whatever.
Wick. He went full John
He
Wick.
was in the
Yeah.
military as well, remember?
Yeah,
He
he was
fought
in
a
Vietnam.
war.
Yeah.
He was
He
in
was.
Vietnam.
Yeah,
He
wait
was
a
a part of
second.
that
So
Agent Orange incident.
Yeah, we saw that
Yeah.
in this episode.
wait a
that
second.
was actually interesting.
Didn't Hopper? There's more where Hopper's like having a one-on-one with 11, and like he's telling her that like he doesn't want her to like continue like a cycle of violence, right? But then
No,
like
it's
let's
Kali.
say, huh?
That's Kali, the one that's saying we got to break the cycle. We both got to go and not let the
No, there's a moment where Hopper is talking to 11. and
Yeah,
he's
that was,
telling
Yeah.
that was
her.
when he had
Yeah,
thought
have
he,
a good life, have a nice life.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're
you
going
earned
to
it.
live, you're going
Yeah.
to do better. But remember, he also tried to take himself out on multiple occasions to save her. He's
Well,
fine with
Yeah.
dying and dying for anyone he cares about as long as they can live their life. Go on. Like be good, be soft, be kind.
Well,
Yeah.
the point I was gonna make is that it's interesting that he seemed to be implying like I kind of want you to step away from this life where you're just used to violence. Where there's a sequence where she like in a ring murders like these military dudes and like makes that one dude like shoot himself. I'm just curious like what's happening there. Like he's okay with her doing violence to a certain degree as long as it like protects her life, but or I don't
I
know.
think
I thought that
the,
was-
the statement started with, we got to do this one more time. And you
Yeah.
should be able to walk away from this because
Mhm.
you've been robbed of your innocence. You've robbed of your childhood. You've been robbed of any kind of, like, if you think about, honestly, Elle season 1, as naive and innocent as we remember her, she
Mhm.
was killing folks, bro. Like,
From
Yeah.
the jump.
she was more
She's been
emotionally
murdering people.
disconnected up until she met those kids. Because the first person that was kind to her, that gave her a meal, he got shot. and she was ready to go in like, oh shoot, I gotta go back into murder mode. And so like she's changed over the years, but she's also still very much so the same. But she even said, I appreciate what you've given me. And she even said that so much with Mike. But I think it was more so like you deserve to have something different than what you've had to go through. That's something that should be owed to you. I think that was the whole point behind it. He knew for a fact they were going to have to kill folks. He basically knew she was going to have to kill Vecna. Vecna is still a human. At the end of the day, like he's not. You can say he's tainted, corrupted. But at the end of the day, it was about kill. Like Joyce freaking killed this man. Like, So I'm just saying that
lumberjack on that neck.
Oh, breaking away from all of that. God, it started with Joyce and Will, and it ended with Joyce.
Hey,
yeah, I love that.
That was
what
so
you
good.
did to my son, bro. No,
You fucked
sir.
with the wrong family.
She did say that.
Was that her first F word?
That's a gangsta-ass line.
That might have been the first F word on the show, to be honest.
I think
with
so.
you. I don't.
The first one?
I mean, it's TV.
No way.
It's TV.
There was never an F word in this show.
It's TV.
Did you guys like how she said that to him, and his response was basically being disgusted at the fact that she was trying to step up to him. So he tried to put his hand up, and she's like, "No, absolutely not."
I'm surprised.
I mean,
it would have derivated from the main story, but like I'm surprised. And again, maybe that's for the play, but that he at every point tried to attempt to like distract Joyce, being like, Joyce, I'm your old classmate, and like we went to like. And be like, no, I go all the way back to when you were a kid and whatnot. But again, I was just like, maybe I have to watch the play for that.
But see, the thing I took from that, though, is remember when Joyce had kind of stepped at him before? He could have killed Joyce before, but he didn't. And I don't know if he remembers her or whatnot, but he could have killed her at any time. But she did not hesitate. She was like, I'm going for the head. She put a Thanos on them.
Listen, I get why y'all like the scene. I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time though, but when she, I don't know, I just can't take the scene. I can't take the scene seriously, unfortunately. Like it takes me out so bad. It's so unintentionally hilarious that like this old ass woman is over here just like chopping. By the way, it's like we couldn't get her like a medieval sword or like something sharper than God, but just seeing her just hacking away silently. You're just hearing these hacks, and like most of our main characters are like in a ring, just being like, oh, just like watching silently is so funny to me. But I kind of get where people are coming from loving this moment, but it just feels so. It just makes me roll my eyes. I just can't take it.
I did think that Joyce was going to be more of a central part of this last season, and I won't lie, because when they gave the flashback in Henry's mind of him, of like her young in high school, like giving out the brochures for the play and everything, and like you broke it down, and the play was on the same date that Will got like kidnapped in November. And then you look at all the times that Joyce just was safe when no one else was. Like even when Vecna came through, he just kind of picked her up and knocked her aside while he was putting his hands through people's eyeballs and stuff the entire time. I really thought that they were going to allude to the fact that there was some kind of history when we kept seeing that high school scene with just her in the hallway. I really thought they were going to make her more of a central part of this season, and so I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't do anything with that.
Yes, because I think in the play, her and Hopper are what get his dad arrested.
Oh, really?
For the murders.
Yeah.
Fucking Netflix, goddamn it, come to LA, man. Like you're stuck in London, New York. Come to LA, man. Jesus.
Do a Disney Plus thing. What you did with Hamilton. Put this bitch on Netflix.
I don't want to watch it on 480p, please. Like, no.
Right.
No.
Just do that. Because like now, I also will say this, that it's kind of this almost like they have an MCU problem here, where it's like, okay, are you giving me homework to watch a play on Broadway that I'm probably not going to go watch? I'm just going to watch New Rockstar, make a breakdown video on this shit, and then I'm going to go watch.
I mean, to be fair, I think the show makes more sense if you haven't seen it. It gets a little muddy having seen it for me.
Well, y'all just telling me details I don't even know. Like, to the point, if I knew that I didn't know that this bitch was classmates with this motherfucker. Like, I didn't know. Like, I had no clue. But I saw like the stone, the sorcerer's stone from Harry Potter. I didn't know what that was that from. But and then I just kind of guessed what it was. But and again, usually I'm the person out of like that try to go get all the information and everything before I know, so I can at least formulate what type of ending this is probably gonna go just for my knowledge. But this is like it's completely blind. And even though I think it's creatively interesting that you would do a Broadway play on this and stuff, I wouldn't even, instead of like doing another like prequel series just focusing on Henry, because again it would just kind of go on that trope of let's just do a prequel of the villain type thing. And I think, and they're trying to go against that norm. But I'm just saying, for some people, they're going like, wait, why is this happening? Why is this? Whatever. And when we don't know the emotional connections some of these characters have before this show even started, because you have this play of a central character, but not just him, but multiple characters of their, I just feel that, like, now I'm not saying it bothered me. I just know a lot of people that were like, they had a lot on questions that wasn't answered because they didn't know, like, oh yeah, if I just check the play out, then all right, now I'll get all my answers.
I mean, like, on the flyer she was handing out, his name's on it because he's in the play.
Introducing Henry Creer?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But I ain't paying $120 to see a Demogorgon sing. Like, nah, I'll just y'all can tell me about it right now.
Yeah.
That's wild. No.
And also
there's also the Canon VR game too.
I didn't know there was a VR game. That makes sense.
I don't even know about that.
That's the writer that play I know worked on the show, if I'm not mistaken. Like they were in hand in hand, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So this might be a bit spicy, but one of my biggest issues with the finale and season 5 in general is that, to me, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that the Duffer Brothers believe that the mythic nature of the show, like the lore of the show, the universe of the show, is something deep and complex. My question to you guys, do you think that the lore of the show is deep? Do you think that the lore of the show is complex? Because I do not. I actually think it's extremely simplistic.
I think the story's simplistic, but I think the lore can spiderweb into a lot of different things if you want to. But a lot of that, like I said in my stuff, is like it's information I would love to consume, but I don't need it for this story. I think is the best way for me to put it.
Well, that's my issue. That's my issue with season 5. That's my issue with the finale. It's like its existence is like startling to me, because it's like, I remember the Duffer Brothers especially have said that, like, we're gonna completely explain the Upside Down. Like, this is gonna be like completely unveiled for you. We've spent so much time like working on this. And it's like, whoa. There's a huge misconnect that's happened here. It's like, first, at least for me personally, I have never like been like Game of Thrones is a better example. The OA, they need to bring it back. The OA was a better example of this. The lore here it has always been so straightforward that, like, I've never been like, offline for like minutes or an hour or so, been like, oh, I found out something new about the Upside Down. Like, it's never been like that kind of a show for me. And it's interesting that the Duffer Brothers like miscalculated, and I guess in their mind they thought like they've conjured up like a Game of Thrones. And it's like, my brother in Christ, no.
I mean, I was always trying to like figure it out from the jump. Like, what is this place? So like that was something I was doing through like my entire journey, was trying to figure out why did it mirror Hawkins? Why did it not look like Hawkins when Vecna went there?
Why that's the
Didn't they bring up the wormhole? Didn't they bring up the wormhole thing a long time ago?
No, they said they've had that since season 1, but they weren't going to bring it up until now.
They never brought it up.
No,
that never was
not directly. Not directly.
No, but what you're saying is that it's not deep, but people since 2016 have been trying to conceptualize. Like, you can go on YouTube. People always trying to figure out what's actually going on. I can't remember what it was in what episode it was, but in volume 2, when Dustin found the notebook and the science of what's going on with this conceptual bomb, right?
Yeah.
Like, I never even thought that was even in the realm of possibility of what this even looked like. I didn't even understand what was really going on. But there's so many questions I have there. you know. And so when this went on, when this episode came out, like there were people like guessing and trying to figure out the science behind what does this mean? What's going to happen? Is Nancy going to be affected by this? So there are people that are trying to ponder and trying to figure out what are going on with this. My issue, this is my negative, to be honest with you. And I'll tell you, this is my negative. When they got to the abyss, right, and we knew we had to get to the abyss because the kids were there. Ultimately, they had to get to the kids. And when our main crew was there, and I was like, I don't know if Joyce should be there. I don't know if all of y'all should really realistically. I get that you need to have enough people to get the kids out, but I was kind of like, one, Vecna is physically there. Two, whatever this entity is that he's creating is physically there. But how the hell are there no Demogorgons? Where are the Demi-Dogs? Where are the Demogorgons? Where are the freaking bats?
I have an answer.
No, I'm just I whatever you say is cool, but my negative was
cute.
But my negative is if these where these creatures have come from, why wouldn't he leave them spread out everywhere? Everywhere. Now, granted, he knows that Will could possibly control them. Maybe that's a round possibility, but I was like, Will can't control 1,500 different Demogorgons. So I was like, that's where I was like, okay, if they're going in there, they may not come out because there's gonna be Demogorgons there, and it wasn't. And at the moment that it wasn't, I was like,
that's convenient.
When we saw the big old kaiju, that was the moment that kind of took me out a little bit because I was like, you know, realistically, like I don't know where we're going with this. But that was my negative in the finale. That's really my negative. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
So remember season 3, what the Mind Flayer learned to do, and what it also did not have in season 4. It didn't have a physical body. Yeah. When it needed one, it makes one. What did it make things out of? To make something that big, it didn't have bone. It didn't have meat. It had to make it from something, and that world didn't really have anything else. I think it used all of that, consolidated all that for this final thing to make it a body. And the few that we saw infiltrate were probably the only ones it was still using to do the foot soldier work. That's my thought process on it. Because last time we saw it in the abyss, it was just the smoke. It didn't have a body.
Yeah. That makes sense. I would honestly.
I would have liked to have.
I would buy that,
but I don't.
I would like to see it. Yes, right.
Yeah,
and also I don't think they wanted to cut away from different points throughout the whole finale and the whole season. They're like, all right, his place, that place, that's it.
But it felt like season 3 all over. Like this
all them fighting. Yeah,
like the whole thing just felt like okay. Here's season 3 all over again. You have a one-on-one fight with Mac's older brother and 11, and then you're basically tunneling him in a tight corner, throwing your fireworks, throwing your flares, and you're trying to burn this thing, and then also for it to either incinerate whatever like that. Like it just kind of. That would have kind of felt a little bit repetitive because we got like I've seen this monster before, and now we're just saying now it's a bigger one, whatever. Like I don't know, but to your point, I thought if we actually saw that just to show the evolution, like just like when we see in Last of Us, like we see evolutions of all the infected and everything, and we see how they evolve over time, and it's explained. I know it's video game watch, but still. But like to your point, I do that is a honest, like I can see that being a realm of possibility. But the fact that it showed up even upside down like a dead spider and then coming up alive, that's where I'm like, okay, is that part of Henry's imagination affection with spiders, or that's just the Mind Flayer becoming physically bonded now? And I don't know, but
yeah.
I like how it was like hit the spider thing because like he gave it form. I like that too. Like just in the fact that he's kind of like we are Venom by the end of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do love that they kind of allude to like, oh yeah, the Mind Flayer is controlling Vecna. It's like no, Vecna's controlling the Mind Flayer, and then it's like a little bit of both influencing each other. Like, I do love that it was. Yeah, I do like that they kind of they kind of leave that ambiguous, and I don't mind. I don't like if it's a huge ass plot hole. I get upset, but if it's little stuff that's like conversation starters,
yeah,
I don't mind it. Like what you said about that final kaiju form being all the extinct demogorgons in the land. I'm like, actually, that's kind of cool. I didn't think about that. That's absolutely fine. Them beating it, I don't buy it. But
I wanted to touch on that.
Yeah.
Because I think they explained it, I think, enough for me when they were like, because they are now linked and fighting together, if you're doing damage or fighting both, they're like fighting on split terrain, like using the hive mind against it. So both of them, by fighting at the same time and fighting them at the same time on their individual layers, are nerfing each, is how I interpreted it. I don't know how well that translates. Like, that's how they said it. And it just, because I was like, how we've been at this whole season with Vecna being like, I'm more powerful than I've ever been. And he's able to like, he used his powers from the abyss through the upside down into our world. 11, admittedly, even by the end of this, still can't do that and still has to be close. Like, so there still is this massive gap, and then there's a physical massive gap with the kaiju itself.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know how much that little like, oh, the mind flayer feels Vecna getting his throat chopped, or vice versa, how much that actually would impact it, though. But
well, remember that stone. We don't know how much of the mind flare was actually contained within that stone. We only know that it was enough to basically turn Henry into Vecna /1 / create this whole issue with Dr. K and her weird obsession. But
yeah,
doing that on both fronts, it is a fairly effective strategy, because we're forgetting about the key components of Henry also having been injured inside of his mind as well as outside of his mind, his physical body, the mind flare. So he got attacked by Holly with a fire poker across the face, across the leg. So he had to, while in a mental constraint, having to get into the cave, like he was feeling it every time the memory played. Like he was being broken down.
he was not at 100% for sure.
No, like you could even see it. So this is the point that I wanted to bring up before, and I think Samuel this. If you look back at the last episode before the final episode, you can see his color fading.
Yeah.
Vecna is not as much of a bloody red as he was.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
So when colors start to fade from a character, it usually means it's coming to the end of their arc.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch it.
Or they have a blood clot.
I was just thinking he wasn't going outside enough. I don't know.
No, Voldemort.
I mean, to be fair, we've seen what he looks like. Of course, he doesn't go outside a lot, but I digress.
Right. Then he
Bizzy, what do you think? Mind
flayer,
flayer, genius, or dumbass?
I digress.
I don't know, man. I mean,
but so when it comes to lore like this, yeah, as a character dies out, they start to fade in color.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of suspended everything in that last fight, especially with the kaiju battle. I kind of ended up kind of suspending it once I went back to the fact that, oh yeah, they're still just playing Dungeons and Dragons right now.
Well, that's what I was like. This is a boss fight, like
right?
All, like even
Final Fantasy.
It looked like this.
It's little baby arms like made a battle arena for them in front of it too.
Yeah, I kind of at the end I was like, oh, I see what they're doing. They're just playing Dungeons and Dragons right now. And
they're all different classes, and they're all doing stuff. Steve and Dustin like pep pep pep.
Getting really damn lucky when they roll that D20, like just getting lucky every single time, and it's like, wow, okay, I guess they won.
I mean, I would have loved to have seen it in the movie theaters. Like from a movie theater standpoint, I would have loved to have seen it there. But watching it at home, I kind of was like, and I wrote to you guys. To me, if I was a mind flayer, at the moment that I realized, oh, these humans are here, I'm splitting up. We're gonna break apart into 10 different little pieces. and they are not going to stop this main piece. At the end of the day, we're going to break apart, and we're going to get into their minds one way, shape, or form. And to me, I would have loved that they would have tackled it from a psychological standpoint and a physical standpoint, because how do you fight that? And they didn't go that route. They made it really grandiose, and I felt like that was kind of a missed crazy opportunity. But the good thing is I didn't necessarily care too much about that fight. I never thought it doesn't make sense for them to be able to fight that thing anyway. So I didn't really care about it. It was more so the moment that they all were around Joyce and reprocessing their trauma through her finally axing this man's head off, that they're finding some kind of way moving forward. And I think that was a very needed scene. Even more so, like, you know, of course, seeing her like use a blunt instrument to go and slowly chop this man's head off is very funny and gratifying. But I think the gratifying aspect of it was for them all to recount their trauma that's hurt them and realizing, like, okay, this point of contention is no longer going to be here. Maybe I can move forward. Maybe this nightmare is actually going to end. So that's the reason why I didn't like ding the show as a whole. But I do know for a fact there could have been another path forward to it, truth be told. But
needed enough wax so everybody got their flashback.
Get all the footage from season 1,
we lost
2,
Bizzy.
3, and 4. Yeah, he was trying to go catch the finale in the theater, which I'm probably trying to do that as well later.
Ooh, you guys gonna have to tell us all about it.
My closest one's 2.5 hours away.
I still don't know why. Dang, gosh, dog, really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Damn.
I might do it still.
Yeah, you know what? If you
weekend,
do that, I'm gonna go on the weekend. Let me know if you go, Omni. If you go, I'll go to the movie theater.
They're showing it the whole week?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I think the weekend they're showing it still.
Well, I saw it in theaters at like 11 a.m. today. I saw it in theaters.
Can I ask a real?
Did it change your thoughts to it?
Well, no. Ask that question. Yeah, I got a question first. Why did you go see it? Real rap.
Because I knew a lot of people would be like, well, I don't know if I can take you seriously because you saw it one time and maybe you misjudged. So if you would have rewatched it, so I was like, nope, we're just gonna nip that in the bud, and I'm gonna rewatch it and put that argument to rest.
Okay, so you solely watched it for other people then. It wasn't because you wanted to watch it.
For review purposes. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew for a fact. I knew for a fact I was going to be reviewing it again and again. Obviously, it's a Game of Thrones situation.
Did you think you were going to have a different outlook watching it in theaters versus watching it at home?
It was possible. It's possible. I didn't really think about it that deeply, but it's possible. Sure, it definitely was better experience for sure. 100%.
Oh, it was.
It was.
What was what's the big difference, I guess, for you? Was it the sound design? Was it like how grand visually?
The VFX are a lot better than what some people are saying. I saw some people saying like, this is some of the worst VFX or some of the worst CGI I've ever seen. I would definitely push back against that. What are you talking about? It looks like all right at best. Maybe slightly worse, but nothing crazy. Like it's for the most part it's solid work. The sound design is way better. The music stands out. I didn't even notice the music when I was watching it in the stream, so the music stands out way more. That was actually a big shocker. There's a lot of great music in the film.
That got me. One of those songs got me then when they were playing Landslide. I was like, oh fuck you guys. Like,
oh yeah, we got Keaton Prince, bro.
Don't say that. That's gonna make me say something negative. Hold on a second. I'm trying to stay positive for a second. Because I ain't got too many positives. The large format is great to see on the screen. It's pretty beautiful. It's funny that they sort of like nipped the opening credits, so that kind of caught me off guard. Because usually you see like the main cast, right? But it's like, nope. It's like opening logo, title card, bam, we're into it.
They saved it for the final credits for everybody.
Yeah. The pacing was the last thing I was gonna say. The pacing is intense, actually. I didn't really clock that when I first watched it. it really is like a very propulsive, like if you were trying to figure out a time of when to use the bathroom, that would be rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, the pacing was, it was like, nah, you better not blink. Like, yeah, it was, yeah, that is true.
All right. Well, man, we've been talking for an hour and 24 minutes.
Jesus.
God, I feel like we still haven't even scratched the surface with some of this, but I think we've broken out a lot of good, interesting dissection of the episode. And
Second recap.
of course you would want that. Of course you would want that. I'm gonna let everybody give their final thoughts and review rating. I gave my rating yesterday. I'll say it again today. But I'll start up with the people that hadn't come in yet. So Omni, you first, buddy.
No. Fine. I mean, like I said, I loved it. Like the season, like I mean, every season's had its peaks and valleys. But for me, at the end of the day, the thing that I value most when I'm watching anything is how did it make me feel? How did I like the story? And what did it do for the characters? And I think the show is never missed on that front. Like there might be a moment here or there that makes me roll my eyes or whatever, but that's what this is. It's a fun little theme park ride that's here to make you feel things. It's a roller coaster of emotions, of action, and just nostalgia. And I think on all the fronts that it set out to do from the beginning, I think it nailed by the end of it. And I think its peaks greatly outshine its flaws. And I'm kind of sad that it's over, but all things end. And we have to move on and find the next thing.
What's your rating on it? A to F?
A for sure.
Oh, all right. Appreciate that, Omni. Keaton, what's your final thoughts and rating on this?
I really liked the ending. The biggest thing is I'm just like, all right, fine. If you're not gonna kill him, stop acting like you're gonna kill him. That started annoying me. It's like, oh look, Steve's falling off. Let's cut to black for 5 seconds. And then come back and Jonathan, who was nowhere around, is holding his hand. I'm like, okay, I get it. He's safe because people have already been riding online. Like the overall, the whole show, I give it an A. The finale, I give it a B, maybe a B minus, just because they annoyed the hell out of me. They got some extra points with Prince. I'm not even gonna front because it's like they knew what they needed to do to be like, we need to make sure Keaton don't get too mad. Like they really did that. They really did like Dove's Cry and Purple Rain. I'm like, wow. Like you really doing
Gave
this
us two
to me?
different songs.
How much was that check, Netflix?
Yeah. Like you really doing this to me right here in front of my honey bunches of oats? Like you really doing this? Like yeah. It was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those things. So yeah, I give it a B. The finale, because I really enjoyed the epilogue and what they did with the characters, and Will becoming a writer and telling the story of what happened to all of them. Like that was really cool, and it still was that, like, it was still that 80s those 80s references that and homages that they've been doing from the jump, because it really felt like Stand By Me. At the end there, the way he was wrapping up, I'm like, all right, they started 80s, they stayed 80s, they ended 80s. Cool, you did it. And so B. I give the finale a B, overall series an A.
Appreciate that, Keaton. Ronan. All right, final thoughts and rating.
I've had a blast watching the show. Even though it took a couple years, I'm like, all right, that exists. All right, cool. It's coming back. All right, gonna go watch it. I had a blast, and it's to me, it's best when you watch it with a group. And I'm glad that I got to watch the ending with a group. I recommend, again, if people like extra material to this franchise, go read the Rise of the Hellfire. It is a sweet story of how it kind of got started, and it kind of beautiful when you see what happens in this finale with Hellfire Lives. I'm in between a B+ and A- for me with this finale. Again, like the epilogue did a lot of good for me, and like Keaton, the way he felt about Prince songs in it, to me, it was hearing Landslide and David Bowie's rendition of Heroes that I was just like, yeah, that kicked it in gear for me. And yeah, glad to have seen it. I might cover the book and the not too distant future, and yeah, I'm really hoping in 10 years I don't see no reboot or no continuation. Like, yo, if you're gonna do that, hold it off, but I doubt it. So glad I experienced it.
I appreciate that, Ronan. And Mike.
One thing I say, so in terms of rating, I give the ending last 15 minutes an A, even though like how we got there, we probably didn't like it. But in terms of overall episode, probably B-. I think there's some things that I would kind of disagree how it played out. Similar to what Sam, we were talking about, particularly with the mind flayer at the end, and also with character Callie, certain decisions that they were making with how they're moving along with the plot I had issues with, but really the last 15 minutes really, turned for me. And again, it's like, the whole phrase, not how you start, it's how you finish. And if this is the ending, this is like, well, I'm glad I had a positive feeling when this show ended and not feeling conflicted. Like, I made a conscious decision, like, right, I want to tear this show apart, especially after volume 2, but because they deserved it. But this was like, I felt the last 15 minutes kind of sanctified, the entire season for me. Not entirely, I will say, but just ending this, my final thought of this show in a positive note. And with a show with this momentum, this popularity, it's very hard for you to do that, where you can have a general audience and say, "Hey, we enjoyed ourselves when it ended." Again, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, all this stuff, right? We are notorious for seeing endings, and we might not liked it or we hated it, etc. But this definitely was one I'll remember. So I'll say last 15 minutes A, and then see this episode B-.
Appreciate that, Mike. Real quick before I get to Siren and Jarrell, Bizzy did give me his thoughts, so I'm going to read them out, and I'm going to give you guys his rating as well. This is what Bizzy said. I think a big reason I enjoyed the finale is knowing that the majority of our characters had somewhat of a happy ending. We got some cool action scenes and some really bittersweet moments. Seeing a new group of kids going downstairs to the basement playing D&D was tear-jerking for some reason, as well as seeing the possible descent, the decent ending for 11 that made me happy. My rating is an A, and that's Bizzy's rating right there.
Nice.
Siren, is your final thoughts on the episode, and then I guess the series as a whole rating as well?
Okay, final thoughts on the episode. So I'm gonna do like a rapid fire breakdown. Kali, her ending was necessary. Unfortunate, but necessary, because she had no more left in her. You can't tell me otherwise.
God damn. All right.
Here's one that's gonna suck. L. Yeah, those are dead eyes. Like, can't tell me nothing else. So, L, the unfortunate of this, I think it was necessary. I don't think it was going to lend to anything to have that walking off blissfully into the sunset moment. I think that kept her going a lot of the time, but at the end of the day, she became quite a realist. She even, in her own way, said her goodbyes, like in that brief interaction she had with everyone when she got to. Like, all she ever said was, I will kill Henry, I will kill Vecna. She never said anything about ever coming back to anyone but Mike. And I think it's because she knew that he needed that. And then when it was, you know, time, she had to be real with him. She's like, this is your important role for me. This is what I need you to do for me because I'm not going to be able to do it myself. Like, you have to live for me. You have to deliver this message. That man was ready to dive into a burning fire for her. So I am pleasantly surprised with how well, we can call it well, emotionally he has developed as a more grown character now. Let's go for Holly next. She is her brother and sister's protege, basically, and definitely her mother's daughter.
For sure.
Jonathan, pretty much back to square one, and I feel like that's fine for him. Like, if you remember in one of the recaps that I did, I said it was totally fine that they were just like the best of friends. They did not need a relationship together, brought together just by trauma.
Yeah.
Steve, he technically got what he wanted. Like, he has more than 6 little nuggets.
That's funny.
And Robin, I like the ending of not knowing in full whether or not she and Vicky stayed together. But she did mention overbearing spouse, which we did see when Vicky was losing her mind about, why is no one saying anything? And Nancy, I like that she became a bit of a wild card. She headed more towards in the direction that she wanted to go originally with being a writer. But, oh, that was another thing. Did you notice that the 3 Wheelers, they're all kind of writers?
Definitely storytellers, for sure.
Storytellers. Yeah.
So if they really wanted to, I'm glad they aren't going to. The story could continue with the next arc. Right. And my final thought was, it would have been cool to see, like, Will sort of not grow a demidog army, but
what the hell?
Listen, they're cute. I can't help it. Dart was adorable. You can't tell me otherwise.
Look, leave Will alone. He's gone through enough.
More the reason why he needs a little Dart by his side.
Yeah,
you know.
nah, he's good. That man's good.
Slay.
He's good. He oil farmed enough this season. He's good.
Oh yeah.
He's fine. He's all good. All right. So what's your rating and then rating of the series as a whole?
My rating of the finale, I'm gonna go with a B. I liked it. I didn't love it.
Oh.
I felt everything was in the place where it needed to be to finalize. And my overall rating, I think we'll take it back to an A. It was very concise.
All right. Appreciate that. Before I go, last but not least, Jarrell, final thoughts and then rating. Well, no, you get your rating yesterday, but go
Okay. No, I'll give it again. I mean, maybe some might drop to a 9 at some point, but season 1, 10 out of 10. Season 2, 10 out of 10. Season 3, 8 out of 10. Season 4, 10 out of 10. Season 5, 2 out of 10. Finale, 3 out of 10. Probably the series. I probably, at least for the time, I probably give the series as a whole probably like an 8 out of 10. I feel comfortable with that. It's a pretty great time, but sweet Jesus, I just thought that the final season and the finale were quite bad. I did not did not enjoy. I mean, there were fleetingly there were enjoyable moments, but cumulatively, I thought it was quite bad. I would say it's the worst finale since Game of Thrones season 8 for me personally. That was quite this way. Welcome to Derry was more entertaining to me, but so for anyone who's like, oh, you're just like this outright hater, no, I just think these final moments didn't land for me.
Crap, I'm trying to find myself. For me, yeah, I had issues with 8. I had issues with the Demogorgon side. I loved how they did the transitions. I loved the pacing of this. It was intense. I didn't know what was going to happen. It was kind of like a lot of different things going on at once. But emotionally, I was tethered from the first episode of this season to the end, like truth be told. I think from a narrative perspective, there are certain things they could have done differently. But it's not a high critique that I hated it in any way, shape, or form. I actually really did enjoy it. But I gave my rating for the episode was, I think, a B or B plus. I think I'm gonna stick to a B plus because the longer I process it, it goes back to Game of Thrones, and I was like, there's no way I can compare these two. Like, Game of Thrones legit destroyed the way that they ended that season, destroyed my perspective of the show. This didn't do anything close to that. So
really, of the show?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Hey,
it's my go. It's my go.
I'm just saying, Game of Thrones is lit. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's the. But as far as the way that this ended, I feel like they ended it and closed it the way that this show should. And it was true closure, it was true progression. There's a hope for a legacy. And if we never have another episode of this series, or if they never have a spinoff or anything like that, then I'm good. I'm content. And that's all I could have ever hoped for. So from that fact alone, I can't, give the finale anything less than a B or a B minus. But for me, it was a B plus. And the series as a whole is absolutely A plus for me as far as the series as a whole. So, and I think I'm just glad that we got this actual closure. We got this season, and I'm glad I was able to kind of share this moment with you guys. This has been very special. It's a big part of my life, and I'm sure you guys as well, regardless of how you feel about the finale or not. So yeah, we will never be talking about this show again. If we don't, this was an amazing time. So I appreciate you guys for all joining.
Second recap.
All right, so I'm gonna go around so everybody can plug this stuff. Siren, where can everybody find your content?
Yes, hello. So you can find me under the same name, The Siren of Thorns. I'm primarily on TikTok, but I will be starting up my YouTube channel sooner rather than later. And if you like some scary stories, feel free to kick up your fins and stay for a while, because we always get scary.
Thank you, Siren. Appreciate you. Ronan, where can everybody find your content, sir?
You can find me at Ronan Unchained on YouTube, on all the socials. I'll be dropping more shorts and TikToks, more shorts throughout the rest of the week for the finale and for the penultimate episode of Stranger Things. And then we got anime, we got Marvel, and Star Wars, and DC stuff. We got, I almost said something I can't say. But
wrong.
And yeah, there's I might even drop a review for that for that Stranger Things book. But yeah, I have already a lot planned out, and it's exciting but daunting. And it's been only what 16 hours, 18 hours, 20 hours since New Year. So yeah, happy New Year to everybody too.
Yeah, Rona, remind me, I got to get up with you and Omni about a specific anime that we need to talk about. I'll leave it at that for now. Omni, speaking of you, where can everybody find your content, man?
Omni Media at everything. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, all of it. Go find me. Reactions, reviews, all the stuff.
Thanks, man.
I'll
I
follow you
appreciate
on
you. Keaton, where can everybody find your content, sir?
Right here. One of the biggest things I've been working on, me and my friend Dr. Amelia Brown have a podcast called Bat Therapy. We examine mental health through the lens of movies and comic books and television. And we've been having a lot of fun. We've had some really awesome guest stars up there. You can find us anywhere where podcasts are available. Podcast Addict, Apple, Spotify, Google. You can we are also on YouTube and TikTok. And then of course my side hustle is Team JVS. So yeah, you can find my reviews there. I think the last thing I was been covering has been the newest season of Percy Jackson, and whatever else Sam tells me to watch, I'll do that.
Got your number 8.
So yeah, that's where you can always find me in the drift. You already know. Yeah.
Oh man, thank you, Keaton. Appreciate you, dude. Jarrell, where can everybody find your content?
It is as it is on the screen here. That's my main hub on YouTube, Jarrell's Alexandria. You can find all my content there.
And last but not least, the Jedi himself of mics, Jedi Mike 7. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on YouTube, everything on socials at Jedi Mike 7, brought to you by Soul Media. Beginning this year, got more interviews is coming up, and I able to interview the Dwayne Johnson for Smashing Man, Emily Blunt. So I'm gonna get that recording soon. That was end of the year, great. And I got more video essays and stuff with me and Jay King with Marvel, DC, going also into a little bit of anime as well. Something new, part of our channel that we're doing, but and then we got more reviews and stuff coming down the pipeline. HBO and Netflix, you're good. Now it's time for Prime Video to hopefully do a finale of a show. Good, so hopefully we'll see.
Talking about them good old boys.
Yes. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you guys so much for joining. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review and discussion of Stranger Things. We will be back for more later on. Peace, people. We're out.